Today's kind of a rainy day. The sun's out at the moment, but it's been raining off and on. So today we're going to work on replacing our lead acid battery for the RV with two EG4 lithium batteries, and we're going to put them in parallel so that we stay with 12 volts, but we're going to have it connected to 2 to 4 solar panels and a Victron MPPT controller, so we can leave the refrigerator on, so that when we are taking a break, we come run the generator to use the air conditioning to cool it down, but we need the refrigerator running all the time, and we're not going to leave the generator running all the time. So we're going to work on wiring up these as replacements for the lead acid battery and have some solar panels to keep the battery charged when we're not here during the week. So this EG4 is basically exactly the same size as the deep cycle battery. And while it says 24 on this deep cycle battery, it's really 12 volts. And so we can basically just drop this in and it'll fit right in the same battery box. And all we're going to need to do is buy a second battery box and we'll be good to go. Well, it's already 4:30 in the afternoon here, Eastern Daylight Time. May 4th, and as you can see, the shade is hitting these panels already. I just put them up on a really crude sawhorse because I left my saw at the house, so out here on the farm don't have enough tools. Just one of those things. So just got it up and running, wired together, and I'll do a clip and talk over what the power settings are saying at this time. So we're getting about 121 watts here from the Victron. So we're making some power for the batteries. With this minimal amount of sun, we're sending about 2 amps worth of power through the MPPT that then sends power to the batteries. And you can see here we're in bulk charging, and at the 13 volt level, we're getting over 8 amps to the batteries. And just to confirm what the MPT shows, the battery also shows it's getting a charge. And one of the problems I ran into is the battery box fits one lithium battery. And I was taking measurements, but unfortunately, due to the propane wiring hose and the extra wiring for brakes and stuff, I don't think I can fit 2 battery boxes on this rail. So I'm going to have to go on Amazon. Maybe I'll use this one for the lead acid, and because the lithium battery is just slightly smaller, maybe I can get 2 smaller battery boxes, that don't have these handles, because the lithium's so light, you just really don't need handles to pick the thing up. So maybe I can get something a little bit smaller that fits within 22 inches of length. So we're still getting 64 watts, even though it's totally in the shade. Really hard to tell here, but if you can compare, this little patch here is in the sun, and that is totally in the shade, and it is about 5:45 or so. And we are generating a little bit of power. Again, not much sun, so a little bit of power, but the refrigerator is taking more power than we're generating. So the battery status actually does show that it is discharging, even though we are putting a tiny bit of power in via the panels. So the battery has switched to discharging, and we are now consuming more power via the refrigerator than the panels are creating in deep shade. So the panels are producing a little bit of power, but we can see here via the battery app, we're losing 1.7 amps as the refrigerator is consuming more power than the panels are producing. So after a hard day at the farm, the dogs are exhausted and we're heading home. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already.